The story broke like a thunderclap across Hollywood. One small comment, one simple, heartfelt sentence, and suddenly, the quiet peace between three people who had long tried to stay above the noise shattered overnight. It started at a charity gala in Los Angeles. Dakota Johnson, radiant as ever, was asked by a journalist about her former 50 Shades co-star, Jamie Dornan. She smiled softly, clearly caught off guard. "He'll always be special to me," she said gently, before quickly adding, "We went through something unique together. It's something you never forget." Her words were harmless, nostalgic, even sweet. But within hours, they would ignite a storm. By the next morning, headlines were everywhere. Dakota still can't let go of Jamie? Amelia Warner furious over Dakota's latest comments. The triangle no one can escape. At first, fans brushed it off as another exaggerated headline, until an anonymous insider claimed Amelia Warner, Jamie's wife, had finally reached her breaking point. According to the report, Amelia had privately told close friends, "I'm tired of being dragged into their story. Don't mention me or Jamie again." Those words hit the internet like a bomb. For years, Amelia Warner had been the picture of grace, private, elegant, and fiercely protective of her family. She had rarely spoken about her husband's work or the years of rumors linking him to Dakota. But behind that calm exterior, sources said, she had endured endless whispers of tension, jealousy, betrayal. "She's human," one insider explained. "She's been quiet for so long, but hearing Dakota talk about Jamie again, even innocently, just reopened old wounds." Within hours, paparazzi began circling Jamie and Amelia's home in the UK. Reporters shouted questions from outside the gates. "Amelia, are you angry with Dakota? Jamie, will you respond to your wife's comment?" Neither answered. Meanwhile, Dakota Johnson woke up to chaos. Her phone was buzzing non-stop. Messages from her publicist, her manager, even her friends asking what happened. When she saw the headlines, she froze. "I didn't say anything wrong," she murmured in disbelief. But it was too late. The story had already taken on a life of its own. An insider close to Dakota revealed, she was genuinely shocked. She never meant to disrespect Amelia. She thought she was being kind, just acknowledging the bond she shared with Jamie as actors. But she didn't expect Amelia to take it personally. The situation spiraled fast. Social media divided into camps, some siding with Dakota, defending her words as harmless, others blasting her for crossing a line. On fan pages, heated debates raged. One tweet read, "Amelia deserves peace. Dakota needs to stop bringing Jamie up." Another countered, "Dakota was being honest. Why can't women support each other instead of tearing each other apart?" Amelia, meanwhile, stayed silent, publicly, at least. But according to those close to her, she was furious that her name was being dragged into gossip again. "She's been trying to move on for years," a friend said. Jamie and Dakota's history isn't her story, but every time Dakota mentions him, Amelia gets pulled back into it. She just snapped. Jamie found himself caught in the middle, once again. He was away filming when the news broke and reportedly learned about it from his agent. Friends say he was disappointed and worried, not angry. Jamie's biggest fear is seeing the two women he respects most hurt because of him, one insider shared. He knows neither of them meant harm, but the world won't stop feeding off their connection. For Dakota, the guilt began to set in. She told a close friend, "Maybe I should have stayed quiet. I didn't think it would explode like this." That night, paparazzi captured her leaving her home in Los Angeles, face hidden behind sunglasses, lips pressed tight as reporters shouted questions. "Dakota, are you apologizing to Amelia? Will you speak to Jamie?" She didn't respond, but as she got into her car, cameras caught a single tear sliding down her cheek. In the days that followed, the story only grew. Magazines speculated about tension between the Dornans. Talk shows replayed Dakota's quote, analyzing every word, every expression. And through it all, Amelia's alleged words echoed across the internet. "Don't mention me or Jamie again." Was it anger? Was it exhaustion? Or was it something deeper? A cry for peace after years of holding it all in? Whatever the truth was, one thing was clear. This time, Amelia wasn't staying silent. And as the world waited for Jamie's reaction, Dakota was left wondering if one simple sentence had just ended years of quiet understanding between them all. The world waited for Jamie Dornan to speak, but he didn't. At least, not at first. Days passed in silence. The headlines screamed, the talk shows speculated, and social media tore itself apart trying to interpret what Amelia Warner's alleged words really meant. "Don't mention me or Jamie again." It was the quote that refused to die. But behind the scenes, things were far more complicated. Sources close to the couple revealed that Amelia hadn't meant for her words to reach the press. What she'd said, in a moment of frustration among friends, had been twisted into something harsher. She was venting, one insider admitted. Amelia was tired of seeing her name linked to a story she never wanted to be part of. She didn't issue a threat. She was just human. Still, the damage was done. In Los Angeles, Dakota Johnson felt the weight of the scandal. Though she hadn't spoken publicly, her team debated releasing a statement. But Dakota hesitated. "If I say something, it'll only keep the story alive," she told a close friend. "But if I stay silent, people will think I'm guilty of something I never did." Jamie, meanwhile, was thousands of miles away in Ireland, filming. He stayed off social media, but those around him said he wasn't sleeping much. "He hates conflict," a crew member shared, "especially between people he cares about." It wasn't until 3 days later that Jamie finally decided to act, quietly, in his own way. According to insiders, he called Dakota first. The conversation was long, emotional, and private. No one knows every word, but sources close to both stars described it as healing. Jamie told her he knew she didn't mean harm, one insider revealed. He said Amelia just needed space, that it wasn't personal. Dakota was crying by the end. She told him she'd never speak his name publicly again if it meant peace for everyone. Then, Jamie reached out to Amelia. That call was different, tense at first, but calm by the end. Amelia wasn't angry at Dakota anymore, just drained. "I just want to protect our life," she told him. Jamie agreed. "You deserve that," he said softly. Later that week, Dakota took a step no one expected. In a rare social media post, she shared a simple message on her Instagram story. "My words were never meant to hurt anyone. I have deep respect for the people who've shared important parts of my life. I wish peace for all. No names, no drama, just quiet sincerity." The post spread like wildfire. Fans flooded her comments with hearts and messages of support. Even tabloids softened, calling her classy, graceful, and mature. Behind closed doors, Amelia saw the post too. And according to a friend, she smiled for the first time in days. She told Jamie, "That's the woman I thought she was." But the story wasn't over yet. A week later, Jamie appeared at a film premiere in London. Cameras flashed as reporters shouted questions. "Jamie, have you spoken to Dakota? Is Amelia still upset?" For a moment, he didn't answer. Then he stopped, adjusted his jacket, and said calmly, "I think it's time people stop writing other people's stories. Dakota and Amelia are both incredible women, and they both deserve respect." The crowd fell silent. The clip spread instantly online, racking up millions of views. Fans called it the perfect response. Others noted how emotional he looked as he said it, not defensive, just weary, protective, and honest. That night, Amelia and Dakota reportedly exchanged brief messages for the first time. Amelia thanked her for the post. Dakota replied with a heart emoji and the words, "No hard feelings." For the first time in years, the triangle that had haunted them all seemed to dissolve. There was no winner, no loser, just understanding. A few days later, Dakota was seen leaving a cafe in Malibu, smiling for the first time since the scandal broke. Paparazzi called her name, asking if everything was okay. She simply nodded and said, "All good now." As for Amelia and Jamie, they returned to their quiet family life, away from cameras and chaos. When asked in a later interview if the rumors ever bothered him, Jamie smiled faintly. "They used to," he admitted. "But now I know the truth doesn't need defending. The people I care about know who I am. That's enough." And just like that, the noise faded. No more headlines, no more speculation. Just three people who finally found peace after years of living under the world's microscope. As one insider summed it up best, "Amelia snapped, Dakota cried, Jamie stepped in, and somehow, they all came out stronger." Sometimes, honesty hurts, but it also heals.